This is a BMW M5, but as you can probably tell from the gold trims and the gold wheels, it's not a standard M5, and that's because it's an M5 CS. Unfortunately, CS doesn't stand for cool stuff, it stands for club sport, but it does come jam-packed with a heap of cool stuff, including a 4.4 litre twin-turbo V8 making 7 more kilowatt than an M5 competition. This means that it makes 467 kilowatt and 750 newton meters of torque, which will rocket it to 100 kilometers an hour in just 3 seconds flat. As well as having more power, this M5 CS tips the scale at just 1,825 kilos, which is 70 kgs lighter than an M5 comp. And like all performance cars, this is achieved through a generous use of carbon fibre, including these fantastic seats. And considering we're in Munich, the home of this M5 CS, it'd be a real shame to not go and hit some German back roads as well as blast down the Autobahn in this absolute beast of a sedan. So let's go. The first thing that you notice when you jump into this M5 CS are these seats. Now these hardcore seats are the same ones that can be optioned in the M3 and M4, you know, the ones that are covered in carbon fibre. And them, along with all the CS badging and the Alcantara steering wheel, kind of hints at a nature of being very hardcore, not really what a 5 Series is used to. But then the second thing that you notice when you get on the road in this M5 CS, obviously, is how fast it is, but it's still a 5 Series at heart. It's not a race car, it's still a very comfortable car to drive on the road. Things start getting a bit more interesting when you start delving into the M1 and M2 buttons. Like most other M cars, M1, the transmission gets a little more livelier, the suspension stiffens up, it gets a little louder, and it just becomes a more sporty car. M2 on the other hand, you have to press it twice to confirm it, that's when traction control goes into M dynamic mode and things get a lot more race car, if I can say that. This is where the M5 CS comes into its own as a performance car. The ride's harsh, but you'd want it to be, because I can't get over how direct this thing moves. For a big four-door sedan like this, it shouldn't be able to change directions in the way it does. It's just awesome. If there is a downside to this car, I'd say, first of all, there's the price. I don't think any of these actually came to New Zealand, but if they did, they would have been well over 300 grand, which is a lot to pay for an M5. Next of all is the practicality. As a really hardcore performance car, it's only got 4 seats, but in the back, those bucket seats, they just look epic. Other than that, this thing ticks all the boxes, and it's exactly what you want a big, high-performance saloon to be. I just can't stress that enough.